Not sure if yes, it's working. Could I have the, thank you. Thank you very much.
Here, but don't press here, only here.
Just forward.
Yes, here,
okay.
on the top.
Thank you. All right. Well, thanks very much for the invitation. I'm very happy to share some of our activities and efforts. And what I'd like to talk about today is a question, really, which is, can we turn the Algarve, as part of Portugal, into a solar innovation destination? Now, we all know that nowadays we don't live in a vacuum. We live in a global village. And within that global village, there's a lot of change going on. Actually, there's radical change going on. And ever more, probably now more than ever, it's important for regions, countries, to really understand what their particular strengths are within this global picture, because there's a lot of competition out there. So, as it so happens, it happens, there is a window of opportunity that has been opening up for some time around the world, which is specifically related to what I would like to call the global energy revolution. Now, as you probably know, there's a lot of concern about things like climate change, oil depletion, security of supply of different raw materials. And within that setting, one of the very promising answers, one of the very promising technologies that has come about is solar technology in the race for clean energy solutions. Now, that's nice, but how does that all translate into something more concrete? Well, here we are. This is an overview by the International Energy Agency of some numbers, of some statistics. And when you look at the right side of the slide, on that graph, you see a graph that indicates the amount of investment that has gone into the general renewable energy sector over the past 5 years. And we see that the increase in investment has been almost 100% per year. And then we're talking about 160 billion US dollars just in 2009, which is a lot of money. On the left-hand side, and especially on the bottom, we see the outlook for the next 40 years, and then specifically the outlook for the next 40 years for the solar sector and how much investment is expected and required within just the solar energy technology sector. And what we see there is that, again, that level of investment, the amount of funds that are being poured into that sector are absolutely enormous. So there's a continued high growth in terms of investment. So what does that mean? Well, that means that we have to go where the money is, on one side. That's one of the conclusions here, but not only. So sun by itself is not enough. We have to capture the sun in some way and then turn that sun or turn that solar heat, those solar rays, into energy. And we do that by way of technology. Now, those technologies have been developing for a long time, but in spite of that, still those solar technologies are not efficient enough yet to turn that energy into electricity and other forms of energy at a rate which is competitive with other energy supplies like gas and coal-fired plants. So what does that mean? Well, it's an opportunity because there is a strong need to continue developing these technologies, to make them more efficient, and to bring them closer to what is called grid parity. Okay, so now, where is all of that money going to flow that I showed you in the other slide, the 500 billion over the next 10 years? Well, it's going to flow to those regions in the world where we have the efficient resource, which means very high solar radiation. And on this map, you see those 4 or 5 areas in the world where that highest concentration of solar irradiance, as it's called, is located. Now, obviously, when we look at this map, we're quite fortunate because, as you see, we actually sit on the doorstep of one of the largest solar regions in the world. Sahara, etc., Northern Africa. But not only that, the question then becomes, okay, so we have the money coming in. We have a good position because we're close to a lot of the high irradiance areas in the world. How is this all going to translate to us? Well, first of all, apart from sitting on this Sahara Desert doorstep, when we look at Europe, we're also in the region that actually contains 80% of the highest irradiance levels in Europe. So that's good because the technologies need to be further developed. We need sun for that, and we need to experiment. So we then zoom in, and we start looking at Portugal. And we see that we have the natural conditions. But not only that, we have an infrastructure by now. Over the last 20 years, it's developed very well. Over the last 10 to 15 years specifically, the country's academic sector has developed amazingly. And it's outputting lots of very highly qualified academics and researchers. Not only that, industry has picked up, supported by strong government policies, and created some of the largest renewable energy companies in the world from a small country like Portugal. So all of this is leading to a situation that has been internationally recognized, which was the last slide, which went by too fast. And the next question becomes, so how can we consolidate this? How can we take advantage of all of these attributes that we have in the country? And as I mentioned before, we have the technology development capabilities. We have the R&D capabilities. We now need to start looking at how can we build the critical mass in order to start developing intellectual property. And there, some of the key characteristics have also been started, for instance, through the MIT Portugal program. Okay. So here we come to what we're trying to do about this and how we're trying to capitalize on all of those characteristics that I've mentioned before. Well, first of all, we looked at the market and we said, okay, there's a lot of projects here that are happening at the individual level. But really, they're not being taken advantage of sufficiently. They happen in small ways in different locations. And one of the opportunities here is to consolidate some of those, to build critical mass. So as I explained to you in a minute, our first objective is to create a platform where we can create that critical mass. In addition to the platform, we then want to build several further components which dynamically link in to the core energy revolution-driven opportunities, and that are complementary to each other. So, from the concept point of view, we go back to where can we implement this? Well, again, going back to the slide that we showed before, we have an enormous solar exposure in the southern part of Iberia. We have the Algarve with its excellent infrastructure, which is with its capability to offer a very attractive lifestyle for both Portuguese as well as foreign residents that can come here and easily integrate. So what we need to do is try again and to create the conditions for that to happen. Now, So what we've done is, in an effort to make the concept move forward, is to start with the implementation of a first phase in partnership with Portuguese industry and Portuguese government. The Portuguese government recently approved the licenses for 15 demonstration units of so-called concentrated solar technology. These are new technologies, cutting-edge technologies, which need to be demonstrated. And what we have done, again, in collaboration with industry, is we have agreed with them to create a consolidated platform on which those technologies can be demonstrated. Can I go back? No. OK. Now, I'm sorry. You put the wrong, but that's OK. Now, the consolidation effort that we're making here is for several reasons. One of the reasons is that there's a cost benefit. Secondly, it will allow Portugal to create a critical mass that can compete at the international level. Compete at the international level for both human and capital resources, and start attracting some of that money, some of those 500 billion that's going to be invested over the next 10 years, into the country, into the region, and take advantage of this huge opportunity that's happening now. Yes? OK. So we are now starting the implementation of, as I mentioned, the consolidated demonstration platform. But that's only the first phase. In the second phase, we're looking to increase the scope of activities of that platform into what we call the Center for Sustainable Energy Systems. And this will include, amongst others, professional training facilities, design integrated solutions at the energy efficiency level, energy efficiency programs, and other international projects that the integrated platform will be able to execute. At the same time, we are looking to not only attract industry and academics, but also open up the energy revolution opportunity to the general population. There are huge and interesting opportunities at the individual level that are happening. And what we've included as an additional component of the initiative is what we call the Energy Experience Park, an edutainment park, theme park, which will allow people to become acquainted, to take action with all of the things that are going on at the energy innovation level, looking at taking the information to the younger generations and trying to stimulate academic and industrial activity. So, concluding, I would say that the Algarve definitely has the ability to become a destination for solar innovation when it takes advantage of its competitive strength, makes a targeted bet on the industry that matches its natural advantages. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry for the presentation. Yeah.